Hello, I'm Dr. Gurung. I'm a consultant psychiatrist. As usual, I tend to read a book once a week, but this book, it took me almost like 10 days to finish this book. The name of the book is Think Again. It's written by Adam Grant. This is the second book I have read from the same author. Just to summarize this book in few points, while while I was reading this book, this book really helped me to analyze the way I think from three different point of view. So let me just divide the summary of this book in three different parts. The first part which I've learned from this book is from the individual level. What are the things that I need to be mindful in terms of my thinking process? Second part, I also need to analyze how I need to think differently from an interpersonal point of view, and the third is a collective point of view. So let us go straight away to the individual thinking pattern. While I was reading this book, I was also analyzing the way I'm currently thinking, and hope with the new kind of knowledge that I got from this book, I may be able to practice some of the skills in my normal day to day life, in my professional as well as my personal life. So, without any further ado, let us go to the first part, which is individual thinking pattern. So, in the individual thinking pattern, what I have observed and learned from this book is we as a human being, we have got the three pattern of thinking, which is being a preacher, prosecutor, and a politician. So, any of the views that we have, we tend to preach it, uh, prosecute, think like a lawyer, analyzing the pros and cons of it, and politician means trying to sell the idea. But I need to be mindful. The right kind of thinking process is you need to think as a scientist. You need to check the hypothesis, and you also need to have an experience and expertise in the thinking. While having this thinking process, the other important thing is we also need to have a value to our identity, not just opinion. And in order to enhance this thinking process, we also need to seek views which are opposite to the views that we hold. There's also a difference between confidence and competence. We need to be aware of that. And there's something called Kruger-Dunning syndrome, where if you are not aware of the difference between this, then it can lead to overconfidence and overestimation of the thinking process that we have. We also need to be aware if we have a doubt, that is an opportunity for us to grow. We also need to enjoy being wrong. And in order to enforce this in our normal day to day life, we need to learn from the people that we meet. And what I've also observed is it's better to meet people who are not from your own field of area, so you learn more. You need to challenge your thinking process every time. So this is some of the things that which I'm going to change in the individual thinking process. Now, moving to the second part, how I'm going to change in the interpersonal thinking. Interpersonal thinking means how we deal with other people. So the things that I'm going to change in my life is one of the skills that which I found it very helpful was the skills of motivation interview. In motivation interview, we tend to have there's kind of like persuasive listening. Uh, and in persuasion listening, the skill is we need to learn how to ask better question rather than focusing on the better answer. In the thinking process, we need to always have this curiosity of how rather than why. We need to look for evidence, acts with enthusiasm, and any of the conflict that we have in an opinion, we need to take it as a dance, not as a war. With dance, we need to be aware of how to balance our opinion, and in some cases, less is better than more. So this is some of the things that I'm going to incorporate in my interpersonal thinking pattern. Now, the third is something called collective thinking pattern. So in collective thinking pattern, the things that I need to be aware is there's not always the thinking pattern is not always binary. That means it's not like black and white. We also work in the gray area. In the gray area, we need to be aware that the same opinion might have different side of it to analyze it. The credibility, to have the credibility, we need to give a space for the opinions to be examined fully. And in collective thinking, one of the things that we need to exercise is our emotions, being aware of our own emotion, frustration, confusion, and ambivalence, and being in the state where you don't feel comfortable. We also need to enjoy that. On this, the other thing which I also notice, being myself as a consultant psychiatrist, is sometimes we advocate too much of a best practice, and this is also seen in America, NASA, where they feel like they have got the most educated and better person, and they tend to ignore that there's still a room for an improvement. So this needs to be encouraged. And psychological safety, the team also needs to be felt aware or confident to raise any feedback to the team for the better improvement of the team. Now, in summary, the things that in future what I'm going to be aware of is, you know the thinking pattern, it changes with time. So we need to give a time to rethink. When we rethink it, we also need to analyze our own actions surrounding. We also need to have a checklist, and we need to have this personal kind of like reflective practice in order to enhance our thinking pattern. Now, in summary, from the book that I've read today, there are a lot of things that I'm going to change. So I'm going to change in my thinking pattern in the three steps, in individual thinking, interpersonal thinking, and collective thinking. Okay. Thank you very much.